Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
My good friend Dennis Beaver is an attorney in California who specializes in consumer protection issues, and he writes for Kiplinger.com. And whenever he's got a hot topic, he sends me notes. So Steve, check out this latest one I got going here, because this is something that could affect you and pretty much anyone in America buying those things you buy, appliances, at a big store. So he helped a guy named Bill. Bill bought a fridge, and then his nightmare began. So if you're about to buy a major appliance from like Lowe's or Home Depot, you might want to read this story first and take a moment to consider how upset and frustrated you would feel if what happened to this guy happened to you. So Bill told Dennis about his experience, but he had receipts and emails, and it checks out. And Lowe's, which is the nation's largest appliance seller, doesn't have its customers' best interest in mind when it comes to failures of the products that happen just a few days after delivery. Because the question is, do you know how long you have to return something to the store if it doesn't work? And you might say, but Steve, you said before if it doesn't work, you can return it. Well, it depends, because understand that you're buying something from the store that has a manufacturer's warranty on it. And so quite often they're going to say, oh, after a certain period of time, you don't talk to us, talk to the manufacturer. What's that period of time? And that's the question. So different stores have different rules. And for instance, Costco gives you 3 months to where if it doesn't work, you can bring it back to them. But that is not the policy at Lowe's. And it turns out that Bill was not even terribly aware of what was going on with that time frame, because in 2022, the home improvement chain cut its return window from 30 days to 48 hours for virtually all major appliances. So you buy it brand new, get it delivered, and if it fails 49 hours later, in essence, you guys start dealing with the manufacturer, not with the store. So that is in the print on the Lowe's website. The clock begins to run at delivery or when you pick it up from the store. Keep in mind that Home Depot has the same policy, and many regional appliance dealers do also. So according to the appliance trade publication, the new policies were initiated to help Lowe's increase margin on its white goods assortment. Now, people talk about what the meaning is and why they would do this. And of course, one of the reasons they say is, well, if you don't have that, people can buy it, use it for 48 hours or however long, and then just return it. And do people really do that for a big thing like a refrigerator? I don't think people would do that just to have a refrigerator for a couple days. So under a 48-hour return policy, if you have an issue with the new appliance, you, the customer, must deal with sometimes frustrating service people sent by the manufacturer, because large retail chains have decided they don't have to help customers who are unlucky enough to purchase a defective item. So in this case, the man, Bill, had a nightmare that began when his new side-by-side refrigerator was delivered on March 12th. March 12th. He let it sit for 24 hours so the fridge could reach operating temperatures before he put food into it. So it got it, put it in place, fired it up, but didn't put anything into it. He said, on March 15th, I found water on the floor. The freezer was completely defrosted. And I couldn't reach anybody at Lowe's because, of course, it was Saturday. But he then had computer automation, press 1 for this, press 3 for this, referred him to Frigidaire, which is the manufacturer. Okay? So he had to wait till Monday because Frigidaire is not open on the weekends. I called Frigidaire again, asked about getting the fridge repaired or exchanged. I was told that Lowe's would not take the refrigerator back because it had been more than 48 hours. So thus began his adventure. He got all the way up to Lowe's corporate office, and they consistently refused to help him because of the 48-hour return policy for major appliances. So they're saying, if it doesn't work, if you don't get back to us within 48 hours, too bad. Deal with the manufacturer. And again, I've mentioned before that if you buy a product from a seller, a merchant, and it doesn't work, you can revoke your acceptance of it if you bought it on the assumption that it would work, and it's something that you couldn't test then and there. So you can't, by looking at a box that hasn't been opened yet, tell if the refrigerator inside the box is going to work. It's got to be taken out of the box and plugged in. And then it's going to take a little bit of time to see if it works. And the notion that you have to determine within 48 hours whether that thing's going to work or not, that's not terribly helpful, because some things might not manifest themselves till 49 or more hours later. So Bill said that over a period of more than 2 months, 15 different techs were sent to his home by Electrolux, which apparently is the maker of Frigidaire products. And they changed parts after parts after parts, but Bright still did not have a functioning refrigerator. He would have been spared the hassle and expense of having to eat out if Lowe's had simply refunded his money or swapped refrigerators, because apparently he was willing to accept another one that worked. Just wants a refrigerator that works. So Electrolux also could have helped Bill by replacing the fridge when it became obvious it was defective. So remember, he bought it in March, and in late May, a technician condemned the refrigerator. That is, they said, yeah, we cannot fix this. So he was then put through delay after delay in receiving his refund from Lowe's. The store continued to treat him poorly, he says, offering far less than the full cost of the refrigerator. So at this point, Dennis Beaver got involved, in effect telling Lowe's that their offer was an insult, and they finally agreed to a full refund. And the interesting thing is, what right do they have to say, we're going to refund most of your money? Well, you got some use out of it. No, I didn't. It's never worked. It's never worked. So Bill then bought a Whirlpool. And he bought it from Costco, which, as mentioned before, has a return policy of 90 days. Bright says, what upset me the most was Frigidaire acting as if nothing was wrong. I was without a fridge for 94 days. 94 days. So Dennis Beaver reached out to Lowe's to get an interview on the subject, and even asked to speak to the CEO, but so far has not gotten a response. But he's promised that he will update the article if and when they do respond. And he says that as far as you go, with respect to buying a refrigerator or big appliance from a store, find out what the store's return policy is on the specific appliance you're purchasing. You can also research a retailer's policy online, because most of them do display it someplace on their website. Also, just because the return policy for a new major appliance is 48 hours, don't think that that means a court will always say that's carved in stone. And that's important to understand. A lot of policies that are posted someplace. We've talked before about companies that put the return policy on the box. So when the box is delivered to you, it's on the box. And then you open the box up, you install your thing, it doesn't work. They go, well, it said right on the box, it's blah, blah, blah. And they do that because some people will go away. They'll say, oh, I guess I'm out of luck. But are you really going to eat the cost of a brand new refrigerator because they said, oh, you're beyond the return window? Now, interestingly, he did get the manufacturer to say you're entitled to your money back. And at that point, the question is who pays who what? Because if he returns the refrigerator to the store's going to go, well, the manufacturer's refunding your money. And so someone's got to come and get that refrigerator and cut him a check. So they agreed to do that. But Dennis points out that 48 hours is clearly not reasonable, and I agree. And he says a court could declare that unconscionable. And he points out that this sale, because it's a sale of goods by a merchant, is governed by the UCC, the Uniform Commercial Code. And the Uniform Commercial Code at 2-302 says that a court can declare something unconscionable as far as either the whole contract or a clause in a contract and simply say, that's unconscionable, I'll strike it. Meaning that the rest of the contract stays intact, but the unconscionable clause gets stricken. And so getting back to the notion that you buy a big ticket item, it comes with a warranty. But the store has a policy that says if it fails within a very, very short period of time, instead of dealing with a warranty, just return it to us. And most people assume they've got a window of time to do that. That's reasonable. And whether it's 90 days from Costco or the 30 days some stores used to have, those are more reasonable. But 48 hours, especially when things can happen like they installed it on a Friday evening. When's 48 hours again? Oh, and you tried calling over the weekend? Did you talk to anybody? No? Do you have any proof of that? So 48 hours is a bit much. Ironically, it's the exact opposite of a bit much. It's too little. But you get my point. So Dennis stepped in here and got this taken care of. And you never know if they did that because legally they understood that they were in a bad position, or if because they just thought, someone going to get a ton of bad publicity from this guy who's writing for Kiplinger.com. That could be. But I can tell you right now, and I've mentioned before, I bought a washer and a dryer about a year and a half ago. And I bought them from a local appliance store. And the appliance store is named after a guy, okay? Just his name, apostrophe S. It's his appliance store. He's been selling appliances, I believe, for 40 or 50 years. I know generations of people who bought appliances from him. That is, I've met someone whose parents bought from him, whose grandparents bought from him. And I've gone in there and I bought actually a bunch of stuff, but the washer and dryer is the most recent purchase. Also bought a refrigerator, and I think I also bought something else. I'm trying to remember what it was, but not important here. The point is that I can walk in, and if I want to, I can say, is he here? And he'll come out and go, yeah, can I help you? What can I do for you? That guy is so concerned about his name in the community, and he understands there is a Costco within 5 miles of his store. There's a Sam's Club within 1 mile. There are other big box stores, Home Depot and Lowe's, within miles of his store. He's competing with them head to head to this day, and he's still doing well. And he's doing well because generations of people have shopped with him, and his service is insanely good. It is good. And I'm going to tell you right now that I had a really, really minor issue with a delivery when I ordered something from him. And I called the store, and a guy came out so fast, I was shocked. And I don't shock easily. And so I actually said to the young man, I said, please tell your boss that I want to thank him for his quick attention to this matter. I was so impressed. And he goes, yeah, I'll tell Dad. I'll tell Dad. Yes. The man sent his son out, said, go take care of this guy. And so there are businesses like that. And if you find one, they're priceless. And I've had people say, but Steve, did you overpay for any of those appliances? I may have paid a couple dollars more. You know why? Because I get to avoid stuff like this. I don't even know what his return policy is, and I don't care. I guarantee you, if I called that guy up and said, hey, I bought this from you 2 weeks ago, it's down. Fix it or I want my money back. He'd be like, okay. He would. I know he would. I guarantee he would. Guaranteed. But it's never gotten to that because the service is so good and the products are so good. So, Dennis, thanks for sending the story. I appreciate it. Keep them coming and keep doing the good work, my friend. Dennis Beaver is an attorney in California. He writes for Kiplinger.com, handling consumer issues for readers. And he helped out Bill with his fridge because when he bought it, his nightmare began because of a 48-hour return window, which I think is a little too little. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. Canada, come for the culture and scenery. Stay because your car won't start.